First one is elongated powers, so I can have a long, limp dick when I'm soft. If you had the choice of one superpower, what would it be? I'll tell you mine a little bit later, but for now, I want to talk about the top 10 most desired superpowers. I got a list pulled up here that I'm going to be reading off of, and I'm going to give you guys my opinions on why some of these are kind of fucking stupid, or why they might be a good idea. So number one, we've got teleportation. I mean, I think teleportation could be cool. It's just kind of boring. I mean, it's like, yeah, theoretically you could go wherever, but there's also limitations sometimes. Nightcrawler, for example, can only teleport to places he can see. That's not very good. If any of you have ever read Francis of the Filth, in order for him to teleport, he has to die. I think that would also fucking suck. Teleportation is number one. I think that's garbage. There's no way in hell you're gonna be seeing me choose teleportation over most other things. Number two is flight. Good old fucking flight. It's cool. I mean, I'd love to fucking fly. That shit would be badass. And there's no way you can say that flying wouldn't be cool. This is definitely one of the most common ones that people say as well. I think if we're coming from a scientific standpoint though, flight could be very dangerous because if you don't have the super strength to go along with it, you can't really deal with the velocity and you might just fucking kill yourself when you try and fly. Living in this world, you probably get shot down by something. Yeah, flight's cool in a comic book universe for sure. Not the real world. Number three is time manipulation. This one is fucking fire, absolutely. This is a good way to introduce what I would choose personally, which is a speedster, because usually they do have time manipulation powers. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with time manipulation, and I don't think that anybody should have that power just because it's almost impossible to not act irresponsibly with it. But yeah, it's a very cool power, one of my favorites. Number four is telekinesis, the ability to control all matter that is possibly existent. I really like this one. It's kind of like how waterbenders work as well. Kinda. I think the downside of this would be you just get really fucking lazy. You can use your mind to move whatever the fuck you want. I could literally sit in this chair and press the buttons with my mind on my Xbox controller. I'm playing video games, I'm not fucking moving around, and I'm not even moving my hands anymore. Telekinesis is the absolute best way to be a fucking lazy shit, and that is why I personally wouldn't choose this one. Number five, immortality. God no. Fuck no. There's so many easy answers as to why this is a fucking terrible idea. You know why. I don't need to explain it. Six, invisibility. That's scary. If any of you have watched The Boys, I can't remember what his name is, but one of the 7 is a guy who's invisible. It's so weird, the shit that they do with him. Like, he's constantly in the girl's bathroom or some shit. If people ever knew that you could become invisible, they would not fuck with you in the slightest. Number 7, predict the future. No. That's not really a superpower. That's more just like psychic shit, which is like, nah. Superheroes, you know, they're beating the bad guy. You can't really beat the bad guy by fucking predicting the future. Ah, here we go. Number 8, super speed, my personal favorite. This is a very interesting one because speedsters usually do have the ability to go invisible, travel through fucking time. A lot of the other ones that were on this list, they can do. If I had the choice to get super speed without the invisibility and time travel and super strength, fuck yeah, of course. Obviously, if I could have it with all those, it would be an added bonus. That would be sick. I will never forget the first time I watched The Flash. It was really my first time getting invested in a TV show, and it was a superhero show about a fucking speedster, and he's so cool. This was obviously season 1 when it was a pretty good show. That really inspired me back in the day, and super speed, coolest power, coolest fucking power. Number 9, super strength. Super strength is cool. Very, very dangerous one to have in the real world. Although, I think super strength and kind of like invulnerability don't go hand in hand like people usually think. It's like, yeah, I can be super strong, but if someone shoots me with a fucking gun, I'm still gonna die. So that's why I think super strength could be cool and not too much to where I wouldn't want it to exist. Number 10, shapeshifting. I'm talking about the ability to change yourself or anything else. Ew, no, not anything else. Shapeshifting into other people, I don't like that. I think that's an awful power. Mainly because in the real world, I think this would really fuck up society if people could do this. Although turning into like objects, it's kind of like the same as being invisible, if you're good at it, of course. I think shapeshifting into objects is a little bit better than being completely invisible. So I actually asked this question on my Instagram. What superpower would you want and why? Only a couple people responded, but we'll go through them. First one is elongated powers, so I can have a long, limp dick when I'm soft. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy, bro. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Elongating powers would be pretty fucking fire in real life. My fucking camera just died. I would want the ability to shapeshift, the versatility. I think you can consider yourself a villain if you say shit like that. Invisibility, because I can be sneaky. These are, like, come on, man. There's some cool powers out here. Y'all ever heard of Psylocke, bro? I expected to at least get some Spider-Mans, right? I think the most interesting thing that I've heard here today was the elongated man. Because, you know, not many people know about polymorphs. Even though it was a joke about a dick, I think it's still really interesting to think about. I'd love to be a polymorph. I could just go like, whoop, and then, you know, grab my fucking heroin. Before we finish off, I want to talk about some of my favorite superpowers. We already talked about super speed. But the power that I'd want if I was in a fucking comic book? Human Torch. I think fire powers are so fucking badass. He can catch his whole body on fire. It looks fucking cool. He can fly. He's super strong. He can melt through anything. He can throw fucking fire. He can absorb fucking fire. What else could you fucking want? Fire is so badass. So badass. If superpowers did exist in real life though, this is what I think I would have. Water bending powers. I'm not much to believe in astrology, but I'm a Pisces. That is the fucking fish, I believe. It only makes sense that I'd have the ability to bend water. Maybe like a Hydro Man would be pretty cool. I really like the idea of Iceman as well, like how he just turns into a fucking human ice, which is sick. He can make platforms of ice that he can skate on and shit to get places. All my homies love waterbenders type shit. Let me know what powers you'd want in the comments below. I'm very interested considering I didn't get many answers on Instagram. And that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.